A leadership team doing quarterly meetings and doing them well is a huge contributing factor to a company's success. Coming together every 90 days to dust yourselves off from the previous quarter, get on the same page, solve issues and plan the next 90 days priorities for the company helps you avoid getting off track, getting disconnected, losing focus and starting to scatter. And 90 days is about as long as us humans can focus, which is why things begin to fray beyond the 90-day mark. So how should a solid quarterly planning session be structured? A well-run quarterly planning session helps teams become healthier, execute better, and resolve issues permanently. Welcome to Summit Scale, where entrepreneurial leaders come to learn how to grow their small businesses into mid-sized companies. Here's a 7-part agenda for a solid and highly productive quarterly session. Item number 1, the check-in. You allow 30 minutes for this. This is where each member of your team shares one personal and business best from the previous quarter. Also, they give an update on what they feel is and isn't working in your organization. Then they share their expectations for the quarterly planning session. This check-in is a segue to help you dust yourselves off from the previous quarter, and it helps you keep everyone in the loop and understanding each other's perspective. And it helps to level set the team. It's also a great opportunity to pause and let your team take a deep breath and think about the current state of the company. Item number 2, review the previous quarter and allow 30 minutes for this section. This agenda item is for you to review last quarter's rocks, those 90-day priorities, and determine your completion percentage. The minimum standard you're aiming for is 80% completion of all rocks. And this review is an opportunity for your team to talk about what worked and what didn't regarding rock setting and achieving for the quarter. It ultimately gives your team the opportunity to constantly improve by learning from the past and then moving forward as smarter, better, faster planners of the future. Item 3, the strategic plan review and build the issues list. Allow an hour for this. This agenda item is an opportunity for your team to review your one-page strategic plan, the vision, the goals and plan for your organization, to confirm that everyone is still 100% on the same page. And this gets your team to completely re-engage with your vision, your BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal, making sure everyone is still seeing it exactly the same way, as well as helping everyone to get completely refocused. With clarity of vision, you then build the issues list, smoking out all the problems, concerns, barriers, obstacles, ideas and opportunities to address to achieve your vision and goals. And typically you'll average about 30 issues in every quarterly session. Item 4, establish next quarter's rocks, those 90-day priorities, and allow up to 2 hours for this. At this point in the quarterly, your team needs to agree 100% on what is important for the next 90 days. And with clarity of the vision and the issues list clear, your team then determines what are the priorities for the coming quarter, those rocks. The team then discusses and debates and ultimately decides what the 3 to 7 most important priorities are for the company in the coming quarter. And once the 3 to 7 priorities for the company are clear, each individual leadership team member sets what their 3 to 7 most important individual priorities are for the next quarter. And this will create a laser focus for your organization for the next 90 days. Item 5, start tackling all those key issues and allow 2 to 4 hours for this section. This agenda item is where your team now tackles all those remaining issues from the issues list. You simply choose the top 3 most important issues to solve, and then starting with number 1, you solve the issue in really 3 steps. Step 1 is to identify clearly what the real issue is, and then in step 2, openly and honestly discuss the issue. Ultimately getting to step 3, solving the issue by deciding what the best solution is to make that issue go away forever. And once issue number 1 is solved, then go on to issue number 2. And once you get through the first 3 issues, then reprioritize the next 3 most important issues on the list. You will really tackle all of the issues, but it's important that you tackle the most important key issues. That's why it's important to identify the top 3. Item 6, next steps. This is a quick 5-minute. This is where you come into the home stretch and recap all action items from the day. And this will make sure everyone is fully accountable for their commitments. And then item 7, the conclusion. The concluding 5 minutes, if you like. This is where the team takes a deep breath and wraps things up for the day. Each team member shares 3 things: their overall feedback on the day, whether their expectations were met or not, and their rating of the day. For example, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best. And at the conclusion of your quarterly planning session, your team should feel 100% on the same page with each other, that the priorities for the coming quarter are clear and that all the key issues have been resolved. A typical quarterly session is 7 hours plus or minus an hour. If your quarterlies aren't great, I hope this simple checklist and checkup helps you make them great. If you'd like to experience a free complimentary coaching session with me, go to www.summitscale.biz/consult and book a call to see if you qualify. I'm Shane Spears of Summit Scale. See you next time.